Hello, my name is Howard8524 and welcome to another video of Curcas World, episode 13. Last time, we saw Rebellion in Pickle Land, aka the big area that is the pickles. So, the Pickle Republic actually had a bit of a issue. That's why you can see this little bit of blue peeking through. Uh, Technically, yeah. So, of course, we had seen a large war, but then just discontent led to them just breaking away. Because, I mean, they've been a puppet since forever. Like, they were one of the first 5 countries to exist, or something. Yeah. So, well, we're currently in year 721, I believe so. This is episode 13. And let me see, how many nations do we have? That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 24-ish. Yeah, I'm not exactly correct, but so, and one thing that you actually haven't seen a lot though was physical rebellions. Why aren't there stuff up here? Okay. Well, one thing we actually haven't seen a lot of was actually rebellions. But we'll cover that later, okay? We're first just gonna hop forward. So note, I know that technically the way that this all goes is not realistic, but hey, who cares about realism? I mean, I know I don't, really, when it comes to this. And I know that other mapping YouTubers like a Pro gives me a lot of inspiration, actually. Also, do not flip and care. Let's see. Let's go until 41. Okay, so the reason why I have to do smaller jumps is because there's war. But what we see is the splitting of this section right here. But it's not in the way you expect. Because, gotta now start adding a bit more spice. Especially since now that I've watched videos, so I feel like, oh, I can add some extra stuff. So, yeah, that's strange. But then since Canada now is unable to, since this area got stolen by Pulu, it actually went and did a little bit of, they created this strip of land right here. So then that way they can just, they need to reach this just go down and not have to get access through Pulu. Pulu is actually like the only it's one of two democratic nations, although one of them is a puppet. I mean, this has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 separate puppets. Yeah. And now Oop goes and does a little thing called, let's take this land. And then I'm going to just grab this color and see, we got some towns. And now, not much else actually happens in the way of expansion because people are scared. But I might have noted this, but to note the noting how big of a world they see is like this. Yeah, but we're about to enter something I'm gonna call the Age of Rebellion. Are unhappy severely in a couple of places that you're not gonna expect. Avonia to know will be unscathed if that is somehow your favorite country. Then you can be happy and glorious about that. But the reason why is that countries are getting big and just generally people are getting kind of annoyed. Um, Most specifically in the Pickle Empire. I mean, they're huge, and not to mention their stranglehold on magicians. It's causing them to be the people in other countries be severely mad at Adam. So yeah, it causes them to be severely mad. And what we see is a rebellion down here near the Limboodian Republic, and it's gonna be a pretty big one. It's fine. It's gonna be a pretty big one. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm gonna use. Ooh, yeah, we don't really have a. I'll use this. Oh, I haven't had any blue country, so yeah, it breaks out in this area because they don't really want to be a part of the Pickle Empire anymore, and so it spreads like wildfire around here. And it's like, I mean, it pops up here in the south of the country as well, where it's just like, oh, this entire area just basically decides to fall to rebellion. And the Pickle Empire, completely caught off guard, doesn't have the ability to go and, like, send troops or anything. And so they're forced to just to make a concession to allow them to exist. So now we have a new country by the name of Zardia. Oh yes, look, Zardia has returned. Oh wait, gotta do one little thing. Um, where's the pink color? Gotta quickly just give. There! Pink color's returned. Where the wizards are. And so now, yeah, Pickles just lost a big section. I mean, I actually have access to, I guess, technically less colors because, you know, there's puppet states. It's kind of interesting. And then we have another issue. This time gonna take place in Ulp. Ulp has been expanding northward for a long time. I mean, they've literally only. But the issue is that this area is much more underdeveloped than this more central area. I mean, basically everywhere that's not the central is underdeveloped. I guess except for the Limwoodian Republic, because they focus very much and less on war. And so this leads to this era getting actually really, 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 really bad. So you once again have another war. I'm trying to find colors that I have not used and that won't be confused for like puppets. I'll just go with this straight yellow, I guess. So it sparks up first in this northernmost area, because you know this is where it's the most underdeveloped, and they're the maddest at it. But it once again is actually quite popular with the people of Oak, because you know generally this entire upper area is way more underdeveloped, and while they have to work hard, everyone in the more center area of Oak gets to have high living and all of that. And so class divisions is the reason for this war, basically. And so it once again just spreads around, and yeah, it goes around the lake, starting to cut them off, and then just Ope does not really have. I mean, and it just kind of goes really poorly for Ope. I mean, Ope does manage to Ope does manage to push back a little bit and recapture this city, but it doesn't really manage to do too much. And in the end, just the yellow team manages to just utterly destroy them, taking back the land they claimed. I mean, like, generally, people are just kind of unhappy. The government. Clear this up because I don't have necessarily the best map. I should honestly do a long, hard fix of this, but I don't really want to. And so eventually this entire area just straight up falls to the rebellion. And so Ulp is forced to concede, leading to a peace treaty that looks like that looks something that looks kind of like this. Um, Ulp manages to get this back. Wait, here's a little question for you guys. I'm posing this because I've just watched a lot of videos and they don't follow the same thing as I do. Okay, question. Do you feel like that having these black lines to help to differentiate, di I cannot speak. To differentiate these different like countries, particularly these ones like that are the same color when it comes to like puppet states. Oh, so it's like I should keep these black lines, or at least when it comes to the puppet states borders, or do you think I should just, or do you think I should, so do you think I should drop them entirely except for puppet state borders, where two puppet states border each other, or do you think I should just completely, or just utterly keep them because that's just my style? I'm wondering though, like you have to go, like, comment on like community post or something because this video does not have comments because I try to stay as kid friendly as I really can. So, yay! Okay, and then another border, and then another change is, well, typically people get kind of mad. When they get mad, sometimes they just straight up leave. I mean, we saw that earlier on in the series where people from like it was Humana, I believe, that the first big empire, like the people they were unhappy, so they went up here, forming our original peep four countries here, Forma, Akalai, and then it was one more. It was Oop, Oop, Ip. And then of course they got angry, did some war stuff, and then got destroyed. Um. So, what's your opinion on that? Now, our next war is gonna actually, another rebellion is once again the Pickle Empire because they're huge. I mean, they're flippin' huge. They have all of this. I mean, and they once actually owned this. I mean, you literally just saw that breakaway. And so, once again, you might remember that Piclia was once an independent nation. Yeah, they're gonna go and declare their independence because they don't like being under the control of the Pickle Empire at all. Because, yeah. So they declare their independence. They get their own color back. To know, I'm gonna have to just remember which countries are puppets or not. I might have to do something about that later. I'll think about how I can fix that. And Piglia, does not want to be in any way, shape, or form a puppet to Piglia. So they declare independence. The Pickle Emperor doesn't like that and declare war, so Piglia does any logical thing and invades. Quite spectacularly, I've got to say. Moving around, taking all of this. It's actually quite shocking. Now, the Lemurian Republic is not doing anything. They're focusing on just trying to. They have an internal issue right now that I'm going to cover in a sec, so they can't help right now. And so the Piglia is just going ham on the Pickle Empire, and the Pickle Empire is slow to respond because they typically expect that nobody will dare rise up against them. They're just too powerful. Like no one would ever dare do that. Well, people have just dared, and so not to mention, you have to note that they were also busy with Rosaria breaking away because this happens technically at the same time. But it's hard to cover them at the same time because I am not two people on the same map, so I can't do that. And so we even start taking this area and start using it for wizards. I'm not going to actually show that because I'd like to remember where the wizard areas are. Just to know that this is, that they control for the wizards up until, like, here. And so, that's not good at all. And so the pickles are kind of starting to break. And so the Pickle Empire is forced to concede. So let's take a quick little look at what that piece of tree is like. And so basically, what has to happen is that Picklea gets to take these three wizard cities and this chunk of the Pickle Empire. They get to take this for themselves. So, become stronger and now have their own little wizard thing. Now, the Pickle Empire is like, oh, dang it, we're gonna have another rebellion, aren't we? And, oh, yes, you sure are. So, technically, as we can look, if we take a look at the race layer, because there's technically three separate races, you got the Pickles, the humans, and the elves. Humans are the most dominant, and so, yeah, but, because, look, it's also because the Pickles and elves have been very consolidated the entire time, and so they never really just sprawl out. I actually am gonna need to update this. I'll do that afterwards. They just kind of sprawl out more, but you're about to see on how that's gonna now happen. So, but if you actually see, there's this actually quite this big chunk on this border of the Lemurian Republicans that's actually that's actually primarily human. And Pickle Empire thought that 2 plus 2 was equal to 5. They thought that if they help them, but then murder those they don't like, that'll put equal stability. In reality, they realized that the 5 is now equal to rebellion. So, yeah, you're about to just see another one. And it's about to end. This one's not going to be pretty in any way, shape, or form. This needs to be set back to black. So, yeah, that's not going to be all that good for them, because, politics. So, let's see. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to set this to this weird this color. And so they just break away right here and go and just and it's on the border of Newton and Lulu, who did it because they aren't really happy. And so the humans just go crazy. In general, are just not happy with the pickles because, kind of suppressing. And so, once again, Pickles, unable to cope with this because they've got other rebellions going on, just straight up, once again, just kind of fold, honestly. And so now we just have the big uprising going on. And a force starts a severe strike into the Pickle Land. So, and by severe, I mean, hello, where are you, capital? Yeah, this one is so severe if I actually go and take the Pickle. This heartland, where they started. And they don't stop there. They continue spreading out and around until the Pickle Empire makes peace. What this leads to is a piece that looks something like this. So yeah, the Pickles just lost all of that. And what they're gonna make their oh wait, that's right, I also forgot capitals. This is Wizardia's capital. This right here will be this one's capital. I'm gonna call this happy, I guess. actually should really shrink this to be like 12, like everything else. So now we have Happy existing. So the Pickle Empire has got quite the reduce in land. And so you fall, and now we're gonna actually see what was happening in the Lydian Republic that allowed them to not help. It has actually caught a little uprising of their own. I actually mentioned that myself, I think. I think actually. I might have not. Um well, in general, they just had another uprising. Well, specifically in T'Challa. T'Challa, there's this little small band of people that don't want to be a part of the Warrior Republic, despite the fact that it's actually probably better than when they were by themselves. So they decide to just go and just rebel up in this northern area with new cities. They actually do pretty well at first, and it actually takes them and so they take these upper northern cities. So then this leads to the Mongolian Republic being forced to come in themselves and just push them back because this and it actually takes several months while the Pickle Empire is having their couple of rebellions, and so they manage to push them back, although it just takes a kind of annoying amount of time. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna do a quick little. Yeah, so it just takes an annoying amount of time to take care of that rebellion. And yeah, but yeah, and the issue is that it was actually several smart people, which is why they were able to take land. In reality, it was only like maybe 5,000 people not really rebelled, but thanks to their tactics, they were able to attack and take land. And now, so at the moment, you can decide superpowers. So I know that a couple of the top ones are definitely Pickle Empire, Lydian Republic, and Albonia. Now, the Lydian Republic never really focuses in on war, because they don't really like war. They just, do it when people attack them, probably for petty reasons. Now, as we can see, I'm actually, so, yeah. Humans are now free again from the Pickle Empire. And this leads, and I forgot to mention that something bad is about to happen. Yeah, they have like this area up here, and this little area right here. Decide that it'd be a good idea to just decide to join in Happy. Oh, dang it, now we've got Vertigo. It's finally been introduced to this series because, I kind of avoided it, but now at this point it's kind of unavoidable. These final couple areas are just human regions, if I show you, that have decided to stay a part of it. But now, oof, look at that border. The Empire does not like this, but they can't really do anything about it because, oof, Mulu and Newt are unhappy. Pickle would probably jump them. Livonia might. Yeah. And so that's not really good. Now, if you remember that, like, maybe it was like 2 episodes ago, I can't remember how many episodes ago this was, you had a couple of groups that did go out and basically became like tribes and natives in essence, and I mean, Mig is the strongest of these considering they've got wizards. They literally sit on a wizard area right here. And so, yeah, but people are just generally starting to become a little bit more unhappy. And so people from the Pickle Empire go and primarily Pickles come down and establish a couple of countries here. I'm not going to give them colors right now because one, I need to find colors, and two, they're not relevant. I give them colors once they become strong enough for me to actually consider them relevant. If you might remember, I did that with these countries until I decided they became relevant enough. These ones are relevant because they rebelled, so that's why they're relevant. And so you actually now have a couple of pickle groups down here. It's actually quite a couple because I'm gonna make this a nice little battleground for me to create some chaos. So in general, this is the lay of the land when it comes to this. So yeah, these people don't really like each other. I mean, they're focusing in on actually creating a country. So I'm gonna have to come through and edit some stuff, so I'll do that afterwards. So yeah, now that's about everything I really want to cover today. There's not really any more because everyone is focusing on something else. One final thing though is that Pulu is just actually fine. Yeah, I know, shocking. So yeah, see you all later.